Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Nerd Podcast Christmas edition. Christmas is indeed 1 week from today.
True
and
that.
So we all here at the Weekly Nerd want to wish you a happy and Merry Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year. And a Happy New Year. We've got some jam-packed fun stuff for you today. With us today is David Drucker.
What is up?
Tony Cass.
Yo.
And myself, Sam Brush.
Yo,
no
yo,
Zach
yo.
again this week. Last
No,
week he was sick. This
no.
week he's being a good fiance or whatever and helping his gal out doing stuff. So
True that.
I'm busting out of here. I think.
yeah, so he's not with us today. He has not been fired, actually, from the podcast. He'll be back with us at the start of the new year, but let's cover that at the beginning, and then we'll say it again at the end. This is the last podcast of the year. For the next 2 weeks following this, you won't have a podcast.
Technically, there will be one more podcast, but we're going to do a best of special.
Oh, there you go.
And I'll edit something terrific
Yeah,
together.
Say, we'll post some little stuff.
Yeah, you're going way the wrong direction. There you go.
Got it. I was recentering the video feed for those of you listening on the actual podcast. There'll be some little stuff that's posted to remind you that
move the computer and not the.
Yeah, I could. Listen. And we may have a special guest today.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe.
If not, I could work up something.
No. Again, 2 weeks of no live podcast. So if you watch the live feed or something like that, we won't have that for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll post some fun stuff throughout the next 2 weeks, and then we'll come back full swinging in the new year. Can you believe that it's been almost a year?
Yeah.
That we've done the podcast. What is this, episode 47?
46.
46, and we've taken 2 or 3 weeks off throughout the year. So, we're almost at a full
I don't think we've taken that many
year.
weeks off.
I think we've taken
Maybe
2.
one.
I thought we took 2.
I think it's definitely 2.
Maybe not 3, but I thought we had taken 2 off.
Yeah.
Just randomly, as we had needed to.
I mean, 52 weeks in a year.
Either way, we're
at
still
46.
almost to a whole year.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So, exciting stuff. Thank you guys for watching and listening and subscribing and commenting. But we got a jam-packed show. Up until last night, we didn't really have a topic. We knew what we were doing for our post thing, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So if you listen to the podcast, make sure you go check out the live feed on Facebook. I've shared it. It's shared on the page. Tony Cash shares it. David Drucker usually doesn't because he doesn't love us.
I try to stay off my phone wall.
Well, I just leave it here.
Yeah.
And, so you're gonna want to pay attention to that. We got some fun stuff planned for that will probably be funny, maybe a little painful. You never know with us. But I was thinking last night about a few things, and I messaged our group and I said, "Hey, why don't we do this?" So I've got 3 questions. I only told you guys 2 of them, and the third one is kind of a secret one that doesn't take nearly as much pre-thought. So I was like, so this is almost like a rabbit trail episode, almost, but not quite. But as always,
So
wherever
it's like
it
an
goes,
old podcast.
yeah. So wherever it goes, it goes. Here's the first one, and the first 2 have parameters that as I ask the question, we'll go over them. Okay. So let's start with this one. What is your number 1 nerd-tastic moment of the year? And it has to be a nerd-tastic moment. So like Drucker over here got married back in May, right? June. So that's probably the highlight of his year. It's the highlight of your year,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yes. That doesn't count. That doesn't count for this because
Hopefully,
it's
right?
not a nerd. It wasn't nerd-tastic. It's more important than anything that happened in the nerd world, but it's not a nerd thing. So that doesn't count. Tony stubbed his toe this year at some point. That doesn't count.
Oh, that was my story,
Unless
man.
you stubbed on Mjolnir, Cap Shield, or Iron Man's mask, or
That
suit.
really hurt.
I was going to say, in which case, you don't have a toe anymore, so.
Funny story. I actually did post it on the site, but did you happen to see the Mjolnir
toilet
paper holder?
Yep.
I want one of those so bad. Stephanie, if you're watching, Christmas, good idea. Mjolnir
For
toilet
me, too.
paper holder.
2 of them.
For Sam. David, you want one?
3. Just get 3.
Yeah.
Just get 3.
Just get 3.
just
We'll
want
be
Mjolnir.
alright.
I just want meow meow.
Honey, why are you holding a toilet paper holder in your hand? I'm a mighty Thor.
I'd be throwing it to the cats and stuff.
They're like that you kill them because you throw it at the cats and it's a massive hammer. So, no. So let's start. Drucker, let's start with you. Your most nerd-tastic moment of the year. And, of course, we're talking for both of these first two questions, the calendar year. So starting January 1st up until this point. Okay? Does yours fit into that? Is it close enough? What happened?
I didn't really give it much thought, to be honest.
All right. We're starting with Drucker.
David, on you?
I think my biggest moment is going to be part of Infinity War, but particularly the moment when the final scene of Infinity War, right, leading up to the Thanos snap and the actual snap. I remember seeing that in the theater for the first time, and I'll never forget it. Like, the emotions I was feeling and just...
He literally shot a gun at the screen. How he got a gun in the theater, I don't know. But
he literally had a deer run in through
through the concrete wall that's behind the screen.
It was like Indiana Jones and the boulder, but it was a deer.
I would pay to see him running from a deer. Like, just put it on a track around a racetrack just pay to fill the stands.
Go ahead and put the antlers on one more time, and then I can picture you running from a deer. For those of you at home that can't see it,
check out the live stream.
Check out the live stream.
But I think that goes down as the moment just because the theater went silent for that. Everything happened at once. Like I told Sam, like they had all the movie tropes that Marvel has in it, where you think the heroes are going to win. Like they even have the epic heroic music when she's about to kill Vision. So you have this feeling that this is the moment where the heroes win, and it's just built up so much, and they flip it right on the head.
Right, and you think because Thor's hammer, or not Thor's hammer, the axe.
Right, you think, oh my gosh,
him in the chest. You're like, oh, win. Yeah.
And then they pull out the trope, well, you should have gone for the head. And, like, when heroes don't do that. And he also wanted to take time to monologue. He wanted to say, I told you I'd die. You'd die for that.
He's like, I'm just going to shove this in a little bit more to make it hurt. And Thanos is just like...
Right. And the moments right after the snap, with each scene, and in the theater, we didn't know who was next.
Right, you didn't know. You had some assumptions, and my assumptions, half of them were wrong.
Right.
You think Cap is going to go, and he doesn't. And you don't think Black Panther is, and he does.
Well, there were certain parts where, okay, first you saw Bucky, but then the camera focused on Cap, and you're like, no, not Cap, not like this.
Right, and then, he needs to go out a hero, not a...
And, the moment when Black Panther's reaching for Okoye and saying, this is not a place to die, and you slowly see him fade,
yeah.
Oh my gosh! In the theater we were in was absolutely silent.
Oh yeah. And the movie, I mentioned this to you when we were talking about it. The movie itself is quiet. Yes. There's no musical score behind it. There's some.
Although there is quite a bit more musical score than you realize.
The sound, it's mainly just the sound of if somebody's walking, it's the sound of that and the sound of them disappearing. But the movie is not right. It doesn't have a ton going on. There's no sad music playing behind it or anything like that. Right. It's left you just to feel it.
Right. And then you see Thanos with his heroic moment. I just thought that might have been it. Just the experience of being in the theater, seeing that for the first time.
Oh, sure.
And just there was laughter during the movie with the jokes. There was some cheering at some moments, like when Thor arrives in Wakanda or whatever. But at that moment, it went dead silent.
I was actually surprised of the non-quippy jokes that they usually have with all Marvel movies. Not as much in the Infinity War movie, which was good for me because they
took certain moments. They took certain moments and did some stuff. So that's yours.
Yeah,
good one. Mine also has to do with Infinity War.
Sure.
And actually that scene, but it's a little bit different. So I went and saw that movie in theaters 4 or 5 times because just stop it. I don't even know what you're grabbing at. Just stop it.
Like long hair.
Well, it's not mine, I promise. But the last time I went and saw it in theater, so I've already seen it 4 times. And I didn't just be like, oh, it's a random Thursday. I want to go see a movie. No, it was always with people that either hadn't seen it yet or wanted to see it again. So I went as a group. I'm not that big of a loner that I was like, I want to go to the movie theater by myself.
Have you in the past?
No.
Okay.
I just lost my whole train of thought. Oh, the last time I went with my friend Ian, who had already seen it, and then my friends Maddie and her 2 sisters, who had not yet seen it. And so my most favorite nerdtastic moment is watching them walk into this theater. We ate dinner beforehand as a group and stuff like that at the Applebee's across the street from it. And they're all, laughing and joking. And they've only heard great things about this movie. They had actually avoided some spoilers and stuff like that. So they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be so great. This is a great movie. And I'm like, yeah, it is. This is a great movie. Like, I didn't lie to them, but I also was not like, man, you're going to have your heart ripped out.
Right.
So I'm sitting there in this movie and I'm sitting next to them. And that scene happens, the movie ends, and all I did was lean forward and look down the line at all of them. And the sheer looks of shock and pain and torment on their faces brought me joy. It probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it did. I was like, I am not the only one. Because every time I watch it, and I've watched it another 3 or 4 times since it's been released on DVD, it doesn't matter. I know it's coming, but it doesn't matter. My heart still breaks in those scenes.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm not alone in my misery anymore. So that's my biggest thing. And we all experienced it. That shock of seeing this
and like
happen.
I said, with every single scene after that snap, we didn't know who was disappearing.
Right.
They showed you, even the Spider-Man thing. That was when he's like, "Oh, I don't feel well." I'm like, "No, not Spider-Man.
No, he's just sick because he's on a random planet and probably got some weird disease."
Yeah.
Mantis put her eggs in it.
Oh, don't talk about that.
Oh no!
Please don't put your eggs in me.
Can I quit now?
Pop culture reference from you for the rest of the trip.
And thanks for watching, listening, subscribe. No,
listening. So that was mine. Both of ours were around Infinity War, which, of course, here's the thing. I've heard incredible things about Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And I've heard, it's movie of the year. I can't buy that. With how great Infinity War was, I can't buy that Into the Spider-Verse.
The only thing Spider-Verse could have is that it can stand on its own.
Right.
Infinity War, I thought...
You needed the other 18 movies.
And I was happy that it did, because it felt like it rewarded me as a fan who
for watching all of those movies, including the bad ones.
Right.
But so that's mine. Tony?
I'm going to go a little sappy.
Oh.
Yeah. My nerdtastic time was just doing the weekly nerd with you
I
guys.
thought about saying the first episode I thought about it.
I needed to say because... this is the end of our first year. Yeah. And it was a really,
somehow
really
we survived
awesome...
a year.
Yeah.
No one's killed us yet.
Yeah, nobody snapped us out.
We brought on some people. We lost some people.
We had some great people. We had some great guests, great co-hosts. Shout out to Megan Caraba, Rob,
Maddie Button,
Rob Ewert, Maddie Button,
Ian Robinson, Zach, who was just he was a guest. He was in the cafeteria when we were recording one, and he just sat down and we had him with us, and we were all like, "This is great," and so he stayed on. It wasn't even like
Dante.
Dante. We had
Dante.
I can't remember his name.
Kevin Goatee.
Kevin Goatee. That's
my
who I was
wife
thinking of.
Makeup on me.
We had some great fun stuff this year. I thought about saying the first episode that we did, just to say that it does hold a special place.
Yes,
to say that we've done this. It gives me indigestion to think about this. I also thought about talking about the hot wing challenge.
That was fun too.
It was. I hate hot wings, but that was still a fun time together as we died and watched you especially die.
Oh, for real.
I've never seen a face so red in my life, and I have seen pure anger. And your face was more red than
I don't know what was up with me, but why did I make a sauce that hot to begin with? And shout out to Carl McGonigal.
Is that his last name?
McGonigal, yeah.
He had one.
He had that cayenne pepper from Texas.
He's always got the hot stuff. He walks into the cafeteria and he goes, "You want to try this new pepper I've been growing?"
Yeah, he's got Reaper peppers.
What's in it? It's like it's crossed between a Reaper and then he names off 8 other peppers, and you're just like, "No, I'm gonna pass on that."
It really is death incarnate, which is kind of nice.
We had a good time. There are a ton of nerdtastic moments. I thought about trying to somehow make the Super Bowl this year nerdy so that I could say the Eagles finally winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't. There was no way.
No,
I was like, maybe because it's on TV or something. I don't know. And none of it worked. My other